So let me show you what a compressor is and how it works. A compressor is simply a tool that minimizes the gap between loud and softer parts of your audio signal. This gives your audio track dynamic balance, clarity, and room to fit in your mixes. Now you understand the concept of what a compressor is, let me show you how we use it and also how to maximize the sounds we get from it. First thing to talk about is threshold, which controls gain reduction. If you don't know what gain reduction is, it's the sound we're losing from our audio signal when minimizing the gap between loud and soft, like how we talked about a little bit earlier. Ratio is your way of adjusting how many decibels your audio signal will be attenuated down by when it exceeds your gain reduction settings in the threshold. For example, a 2:1 ratio states for every time the audio signal exceeds the threshold by 2 decibels, it will be attenuated down by 1 decibel. If you're unsure of some of the music vocabulary, a decibel or loof are units we use to measure sound. Attenuation means something is losing strength when passing through a medium. Gain is a word we use to represent amplified sound. Attack controls the time the compressor starts processing, represented in milliseconds, and processing in this case means the compressor is minimizing those loud and soft parts. We use fast attack for punchy, aggressive vocals, and medium or slower attack for the exact opposite. Release is the exact opposite of compression. It controls when the compressor stops processing, represented in milliseconds. Fast release will make your audio signal more snappy and slow release more balanced. Knee controls the reaction of the compressor to your audio signal. Soft knee is essentially a gradual switch between compressed and uncompressed signal, and hard knee is a immediate switch between compressed and uncompressed signal. So you can imagine in most situations we use soft knee unless you have more aggressive vocals. Make a gain is where you control how much you want to amplify your compressed signal. This is useful because after compressing you lose gain and it makes your track sound quieter. This now allows you to bring that compressed audio up in the mix. You understand what compression is now? Let's use it. So I'm going to show you 2 basic ways of using compression. First, we're just going to go over the regular basic way that everybody learns how to do first, and then we're going to go over a bit more of an advanced way that will give you a little bit more control over your dynamic material and honestly just the balance of your song. It'll make your audio material, whatever you're compressing, sound a billion times better versus just using one. So let's get straight into it. So as you can see right here, I've already made the adjustments for this compressor. What I've done here, over here for my threshold, I've done 16.4 decibels of gain reduction. I should mention, whenever we're doing gain reduction on our threshold, we never really want to go over 20 decibels of gain reduction unless we're doing like parallel compression or we're on our background vocals. Whenever we're doing the threshold for our lead vocals, make sure to try to never go over 20 dB of gain reduction. It'll just sound like there's too much missing from the audio signal, which would just not sound pleasant to listen to in the very end. 15 millisecond attack time, because this is a nice medium-sized attack. A very basic sounding attack. Is not too fast, is not too slow. Release, same thing for the release. About 160 milliseconds to about 200 milliseconds is normally the sweet spot for a nice balanced release. So for my ratio, I have it at about 3.5 to 1, and you know, a 3-to-1 ratio is like the normal balanced, like average type ratio. Using this specific type of ratio will give you the most balanced sound. It won't sound like it's too like overly compressed or whatever. I just wanted to go a little bit above that just because this is a bit more of an aggressive song, but it's not that aggressive. And whenever I'm compressing more aggressive songs, I try to go for a bit of a higher ratio to really kind of tame everything that's going on, because things can get kind of crazy in more aggressive songs. So that's why we want to come in with compression and clean all that stuff up. But in this case, I didn't want to go too crazy, so I just did 3.5 to 1. In a lot of situations though, you may want to use a 3-to-1 ratio depending on what type of song you're compressing. But if we're mixing like pop vocals, sometimes you can even go to like 5-to-1 or like 4-to-1. So always keep that in mind. Over here I have soft for my knee, mainly just because even though this is an aggressive song, whenever you use hard knee, sometimes it can present unwanted artifacts from your compressor. And honestly, I just didn't want to deal with that right now. Most of the time, you really won't even need to use hard on the compressor unless you're doing something very specific with your compressors. Makeup gain 2.8 decibels. This is where I was able to get the sound of my audio signal to actually sound like it's on top of the instrumental track, and it doesn't sound like the instrumental track is drowning out my voice, which is what we always want to avoid. So let's listen to how this compressor sounds on the track versus without it.
Yo, all these fuck niggas be the same anyway, yeah. Yo, all these fuck niggas be the same, they anyway, yeah. Yo, and me, my focus always been the same, can't end. Yo, all these fuck niggas be the same, they anyway, yeah. Yo, and me, my focus always been the same, can't end, it's yeah.
So yeah, if you really pay attention, everything sounds a lot more balanced. The dynamics don't kind of just sound like they're all over the place. It sounds like it's just in one nice spot, which is what we really need this compressor for. The second way of using compression I was talking about earlier to maximize the sound that you get from your compressors is using two compressors, and I'm going to show you how we do this. So the reason why we want to use two compressors is to split up the work that one compressor would have to go through in an audio track. This means we're gonna have two compressors doing two separate things to your audio signal. So the first compressor that we're gonna be adding on this vocal chain will be essentially to attack the peaks, and the second compressor we're gonna be adding on this vocal chain will really just be to balance everything out after we've already attacked the peaks with that first compressor. It'll make your audio signal sound a lot more balanced and a lot more well-rounded. So let's get straight into it. So I just finished setting everything up. Let me show you what I've done on these two compressors. This is the first compressor that will be attacking the peaks of our audio signal. So what I did on this one, I have a nice high ratio. I want to make this compressor pretty aggressive. So a 12:1 ratio, fast attack, medium size release, and I have the knee on hard. And what I did on this one for the threshold, I have it down to 4 decibels of gain reduction. This is my second compressor right here, or the compressor that will balance my audio signal out, make everything sound a bit more well-rounded. Over here, I have a 3:1 ratio, 13 decibels of gain reduction, nice medium size attack, medium size release, and I have it on soft. Just because this compressor is supposed to be balanced, so it needs to sound like it's balanced with the knee. Last thing I wanted to talk about was the threshold. So I'm getting about 16 decibels of gain reduction right here, as you can see, since I have this one at 13 decibels of gain reduction and I have this one at 4 decibels of gain reduction. And the reason why I wanted to make sure I got the least amount of gain reduction on the more aggressive compressor that was removing the peaks from the audio signal is to make sure that this one doesn't overpower anything else, because if you have the gain reduction set too high on this one, it can easily just destroy your audio signal, make everything sound really bad. The idea is for us to have a really aggressive compressor with minimal processing going on to the audio signal. To kind of put it into perspective for you, think of your audio signal as from like 0 to 100%. We only want this first compressor to compress about 20% of the audio signal, and we want the second compressor to go ahead and compress majority of the audio signal. This will ensure that we're not getting too much gain reduction from the first compressor and also getting a nice balanced sound from the second one. Let me go ahead and show you how everything sounds.
Yo, all these fuck niggas be the same, they anyway, yeah. Yo, and me, my focus always been the same, can't end, it's yeah. Yo, all these fucking demons in your head to make you throw your life.
Let's listen to the audio track without it.
Yo, all these fuck niggas be the same, they anyway, yeah. Yo, and me, my focus always been the same, can't end, it's yeah. Yo, all these fucking Yo, all these fuck niggas be the same, they anyway, yeah. Yo, and me, my focus always been the same, can't end, it's yeah. Yo, all these fucking demons in your head to make you throw your.
But all right, everyone, that is my explanation of compression and how to use it. Now, if you're a beginner wondering how to mix your vocals with strictly stock VSTs inside FL Studio, hit the link in my description and I'll give you a detailed step-by-step guide, which I can guarantee will 5 times the speed in which you progress. But all right, everyone, I hope you got a lot of value out of this video. If you did, make sure to hit like and subscribe. I'll catch you all in the next one.